Welcome to ECCB Connects. The internet has become a normal facet of everyday life. We use it to shop, conduct business, stay in touch with family and friends, to work, and children all over the world now use it as their new classroom. But some people still have doubts and fears about using the internet. In this episode, Rodney Browne, owner of eCaribbean Limited, explains how you can use the internet as a tool in this new normal and then outlines some safety measures that you should consider when going online.
Hey, there is something you need to do. Go to the Google Play Store and download the Smart Finance app. Yes, it's the Smart Finance app. Just type Smart Finance app in the search area, but make sure to type the $ for the S in Smart, and you will find it. It's a bright yellow and green bulb with a $ in the center. This app is useful and provides lots of information about savings, budgeting, investing, and other financial matters. So be smart and download the Smart Finance app today.
In this COVID era, the new normal as we call it, what opportunities does using the internet provide? And what are some of the steps that you and your family can take to stay safe while online? Let's hear from Rodney Browne, web developer with over 20 years experience in the digital and web media industries.
The internet currently has over 4 billion people online. It's actually closer to 5 billion, but we're going to be a little bit conservative here and say 4 billion, over 4 billion. What does this mean for the ECCU? Well, we're a few 100,000, but the minute you open up your device, whether it is your laptop, your phone, you have over 4 billion neighbors to connect with. You determine how you want to, or how best you wish to connect with them and utilize that major network, that resource of over 4 billion individuals online. The trend right now is over 300 billion emails being sent daily. And there was talk just a few years ago when social media was taking off and instant messaging and everything else was taking off. That email, some people were running around proclaiming that email was dead or email would be dead in a few years. But contrary to that belief, email has been increasing in terms of usage on a daily basis. Over 300 billion emails sent daily. Granted, a lot of that is spam, unfortunately, but still it's a huge number in terms of activity on the network, the internet. And then you have over 200 million websites, active websites. In truth, there is over 1.5 billion web addresses, whereby if you type in whatever, you go to, let's say www.mywebaddress.com, it may not have anything on there, so it's not actually a website, it's just a web address. Until it actually has content, meaningful content, and it's updated on a regular basis, we won't add it to the active count. So there are currently over 200 million active websites online. Again, what does that mean for us? It means that in terms of resources, we have options. Now, the paradox is that even with so many options available to us on a regular basis, most of us, many of us, maybe all of us, we only interact with very few websites on a regular basis, maybe 0.00001% of the potential to interact with. So that is something to consider when you're online, that there are resources out there, things that may speak to your current need, your current interest. It may just be a click away. And as we mentioned, the challenges and the new normal, one of the things that has been heightened during the pandemic is the fact that there's a lot of stress building with individuals, with families, due to uncertainty, due to not being sure about your status as it relates to a job. As a result of all the added stress, there may even be cases of depression, etc. So we can use the internet in some regards to assist us with being an outlet for us. Whether it is you want to have a creative outlet, you want to create something, share it online, get some feedback, or learn a new trade or activity, you can do that online, as well as from the important measure of sharing your challenges. Maybe you don't wish to speak to family and friends because you feel it's too personal. You feel that it is, you don't want to share your fears with them. So you feel better and more comfortable opening up to a stranger. That is not unusual. There are various support groups online. You can find one that fits your current challenge that you would want to have addressed. Even if it's just, like I said, to hear what it is that you're going through. You can use the internet. You have over 4 billion neighbors. Surely there are a few in that mix who are sharing the same challenges and who may have some solutions, or just an ear for you. So consider that. If you can't or you're not prepared to share with your persons in the physical, consider the virtual as an option.
So yes, you can use the internet as a tool in this new normal. However, there are some important factors to consider when going online. These include using a secure internet connection, keeping your data secure, and remembering that you can leave a digital trail.
The internet is forever. And what does forever mean? The internet, essentially, when you conduct activity online, it's being stored somewhere in order for you to access it. If it's not being stored anywhere, then generally you can't access it. So with the storage part of it, even if it is that wherever, so you put a photo online and you delete it. It's possible it's also deleted on the server where it's stored, but you don't know, depending on the nature of the service, if persons have access, if anyone has access to the photo or the information, they can copy it. So you may think you've deleted and everything is all well and good, not realizing that 100 persons already did a photo snap or right-click download your photo onto their own device. So it's something. I have 2 daughters, two children, and I try to remind them all the time that the internet is forward. It's an advantage for you that you're young and you have these opportunities growing up in the internet age, the digital age. But it's also a disadvantage when you don't manage it effectively, because from a young age you can have your history essentially immortalized, for better or worse, online. And the internet is actually more than a tool. It is the ultimate facilitator, because it allows businesses and individuals to create and then share and connect with other people. So it is a major facilitator in that regard. And because of all of that activity, and we see that the daily use of internet has been increasing, especially with the challenges, again, with lockdowns and shift systems, etc., working from home or working remotely, we're spending more and more time online. Our children are online, doing online learning in most cases, or hybrid. So there are more opportunities on the negative standpoint, from the negative standpoint, in terms of you being affected in a negative way. So it's important to be or practice safe measures while you're online. And being safe online, just to be clear, is not wearing a mask while you're online. That's not being safe. So don't take the picture too literal. And what I'm speaking about is, consider, and I'm going to use an analogy to try not to be too technical. You're on your property, you're at home. The network essentially is the boundary around your yard. So that's the first point of contact. So you want to ensure that your network, your Wi-Fi, your connection, I can tell you ECCB has it down lock. I had to try 10 times to connect to the Wi-Fi, even with the password. So it's stuff like that you want, where you don't have, it's not easy for persons, even if you're giving it to them, it's not an easy step-in process for you to access the network. You want to, again, using the analogy, on the personal side of things, every single door window is an access point into your house. So every single device you have, that's an access point onto your network. So you want to take some personal action on that regard and get some antivirus. There's some antivirus software and services that are free, and there are others that are very, very affordable, in the region of, say, 20, 30, 40 US per year, or one-time fee in some cases, 100 EC, or less in most cases. But like I said, there are lots of free options, but when it comes to security, personally, I'm not too comfortable with free. I prefer to have a little skin in the game, just to be sure I'm getting what I'm paying for at the very least. Backups, that's very important. Dropbox and Google Drive, etc. Those are not backup options. They're storage and sharing facilities. So if you're constantly using Dropbox, I use Dropbox all the time, Google Drive, etc. Don't get confused in thinking that your data is being backed up. The backup is essentially taking a snapshot of your files, your data at a specific time interval and having copies, and you determine how many copies you want to have spread out. So if for whatever reason you discover that your system or your device or whatever the case may be might have been hacked, or some file is corrupted or whatever the case may be, you may be able to restore from backup from a week ago, depending on the service you're using or the method you're going about in backing up. Strong passwords, as I mentioned earlier, I had some difficulty connecting because the password was pretty creative. That is a good standard you want to have and practice. You don't want to have welcome123 as your password. Most of the attacks online, a big measure of them are through weak passwords. And when I say weak passwords, I mean like really weak passwords. So don't take your password for granted in terms of setting a password, whether it is for your email account, for to access your device, whatever it is. Once a password is required, try to put a little effort into not making it too easy to guess. So password ties into effective practices where you want to develop a habit of being vigilant with your access. How you go about accessing what you need. You don't want to obviously make it too easy for persons to get to your system. So you try to, as much as possible, have effective measures in place. Children access. Again, our children are accessing, sometimes some children have more than one device. They may have a phone and they have a tablet. Some may have even 3 phone, tablet, laptop. All those are connection points. It's great convenience, but it's important to have them locked down. Antivirus would assist with that. Most of the antivirus services now allow for some option of you having a cutoff point for when your children are accessing the internet. So if you say no internet on these devices after 7:30 p.m., they will just be blocked once they're at home accessing the Wi-Fi. Or you have the Wi-Fi system and the antivirus. Some of them, they have add-on service where you can then restrict websites based on the type of websites from being accessed on certain devices. So there are options out there that are not too complex. If it is, I would recommend, most of you will have had someone come and set up your Wi-Fi, set up your network. You consult with these persons, ask them what are the best security measures you can put in place, the measures that are affordable and effective. And some of them you can research and they're not hard to set up, like the antivirus. You find the ones that there's Avast, there's Kaspersky, there are a whole bunch of them. Just do some research, best antivirus 2020. Run some comparisons and pick out the top 2 or 3 that meet your budget, and pick one, you install, double click, select the defaults, and that's pretty much it. Run your initial scan. It doesn't take long, it's not complicated at all, really.
We are from the Needless Sixth Form College, and you're watching ECCB Connects.
To view any episode of ECCB Connects anytime, any place at your convenience, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn at ECCB Connects.
The internet provides endless information and entertainment, and we find ourselves going online so much more due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As you use the internet as a tool in this new normal, remember to stay safe when you go online. Thanks for watching, and be sure to join us next week when we bring you another episode of ECCB Connects.